they paid a little at the beginning and then started withholding stuff, saying if you don't get this done, you're not going to get paid. And that's where the change order stuff came in and left me with a pretty hefty material bill. I'm gonna start getting emotional.
Hello and welcome to the Give, Send, Go, Shine Brightly podcast. We're so thankful that you are listening today. Have we got a story for you? We know there's lots of crazy stuff happening in the world. You might not believe this one. Today I have on Kyle Wells. Now, those of you who might not know, my maiden name and my brother's name who founded Give, Send, Go with me is Wells. So we are two of 12 Wells that grew up together in this huge family up in the Northeast. So welcome, Kyle. You already feel like a brother to me. Welcome to the Shine Brightly podcast.
Thank you.
Obviously, you came to Give, Send, Go and you needed to start a campaign. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what made you have to start a campaign?
Desperation, maybe. So back in 2021 is when it all kind of started. The downfall of my company and reputation and everything. I went to a Trump rally as a Christian conservative. He was going to be in Perry, Georgia, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to go. I've never been to one, never been to any kind of political anything. And a friend of mine went with me. It's actually my friend's mom went with me. She's a lot older than me, and she really, really wanted to go. I'm like, okay, cool. And we went to Perry. I had my truck all decked out, and she had this flag that she wanted to fly. And I'm like, yeah, okay, that's cool. We'll fly it. Anyway, I went to the Trump rally. Everything was great. Had a good time. Um, got home and it was probably like 2 or 3 days later my business started getting attacked pretty heavily. I had to shut my Facebook page down. Google review went from like 5 stars to under 1 star. People were attacking me and I didn't know where it was coming from. And a buddy of mine had sent a TikTok video that a guy had made with my truck. I stupidly, I guess, I still had my magnet on the side of the truck. I guess I felt safe, didn't think anything of it, taking it down. Never thought in a million years I would get politically attacked. Anyway, fast forward. So I dealt with that. Business kind of dropped off a little bit with the reviews. That's where everybody goes is like Google. And, they see that and they're like, well, they don't even give me a second thought. It was a lot of nasty stuff. I got most of them taken down.
Good.
It took me about
I was wondering if you could write in and say they've never used me. They
yeah,
can't just write a review if they've
right,
used you.
right. And it was kind of a process. I had to get multiple people to kind of, contact or hit the button saying, hey, this isn't a legitimate review. I think there's still some on there that hadn't went away yet. But anyway, fast forward a year, I was working on pretty big job here in my town. It's an apartment complex, and it was people from out of town that were building it. And I don't know why I took it. I knew I could handle it. Right. I knew it'd be good for my company. I got to employ a lot more people to help me with the project. Anyway, long story short, the owner had saw all that stuff, the reviews, and I had a lot of change order. I don't know if y'all know what change orders are. It's stuff that wasn't in my contract that they had me do extra. There's a lot of money there, a lot of money still left on the table to finish the job. I bought a whole apartment complex full of fixtures. And they ended up running me off saying that I wasn't able to keep up. That's a form of how they can get out of the contract. If they don't believe that I can keep up with the job and they didn't find somebody else, then they're good with doing that. But they never paid me. And me being the type of person I am, I had faith that they would, because they paid a little at the beginning and then started withholding stuff, saying if you don't get this done, you're not going to get paid. And that's where the change order stuff came in and left me with a pretty hefty material bill. I'm gonna start getting emotional.
Right. This is so stressful. So you go to a rally for a president
Yeah.
that's not it's not breaking in or destroying property, or you're just going to go listen to the president of the United States
Right.
which is something people have done all through history. Like if the president's in town, you go. It's an honor to go and listen to them. And whether you agree, disagree, whatever with the
Right.
president at the time, people just
Right.
go and they're like, look, so and so president held my baby, right? And
Right.
whether they like the president's policies or not, there's some honor with being around a president, listening to them speak. So you decide to go to this very legal
Yeah.
presidential, President Trump's gonna be showing up, and you just get happen to be targeted because
Yeah.
you're there, and there are people that don't want other people to have different thoughts than them. It's amazing that
Correct.
in the United States we're at a place where like you can't think differently than somebody if they have strong opinions or they're going to try to destroy you. And it sounds like that is what happened, which is really, really unfortunate. That's
Yes.
heartbreaking, actually, that you had all these reviews and this mob, and we've seen it here at Give Send Go too, where a mob just decides they don't like something. They don't really investigate. They don't know anything about us. They don't know anything, but they just go full on attack. And so you found that for your family. I see in your campaign page for anybody who's watching, it's givesendgo.com/Wells Plumbing. I see that you have two little girls, beautiful little girls.
I do.
And of course, as a dad, you want to provide, you want to
Right.
protect them. Again, you weren't doing anything wrong, and now you have this heavy burden because it sounds like this company just either saw this
Yeah. Right.
video or made
Yeah.
some decisions for whatever reason. Do you really think that it's because of them seeing something on TikTok or someone sharing it?
Only thing that really makes sense. I know that when the owner was there, it was back in happened to me in August. It was close to January of 22. I was wearing a Trump, just my sweatshirt at work. It was cold, and he asked me not to wear stuff like that around his
Yeah.
job site. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that just shows that if he won't let you wear a
Right.
shirt that has
And
the
if it
president's name
caught
on it,
Yeah, and if you caught wind of something like that and seen all that, and then I got ran off. I don't know. And then the other thing is like, so I had to close Wells Plumbing down. I'm a small company. There's no way I can recoup from that. Apparently, when I opened up the account with the supplier, I signed a personal guarantor. So now they're coming after me personally. So this is so when I saw that come getting served with that and found out they were coming after me personally, yeah, I guess like I said at the beginning, just desperation, just to help. I'm not one to ask for help. I like to give help. And being in the plumbing industry, I've done so much for people at a cheaper price or just helping them out, letting them make payments and everything. And I'm not able to do that anymore. I'm working for somebody now. But yeah, it was just I don't know. Just I feel like my whole dream and the way to provide for my family and everything just came under attack because I just decided, I don't know.
Yeah, how did you know about Give Send Go? Did you know about Give Send Go, or were you like, I need to do something? Did someone recommend it, or had you seen us around and said, oh,
Yeah,
eh,
a friend of mine recommended y'all are faith-based organization, and I was like, okay, again, that's somebody I would want to publish something with, and everything. My faith is everything to me. So anything like that, any organization like that is who I usually deal with this. So, but yeah, a friend recommended
so you
y'all to me.
Give Send Go, you put out a campaign saying, hey, here's my story. This is what happened to me. If anybody
Mhm.
wants to help, I owe this huge amount of money that I'm getting stuck with, and it's impacting everything in my life. And all of a
Right,
sudden, donations start coming in because I see you haven't just raised like $100 or 200
right,
bucks from a couple
yeah,
people. You've raised over $33,000. And I know you have a bigger goal, but
right.
did you think when you started seeing
Uh,
money coming in and you get the notifications, someone
I
gave,
did.
someone gave.
I
What did
did.
you what did
It
you get?
was it was incredible. So there's a guy, a political person, that I picked it up, saw it, and shared it, and I mean, it was just like bam, just I had to turn my notifications off my email because it was just like go, 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 and it was incredible. I had a video thanking people, and I shared with that guy, and he shared with the people that follow him. But I remember waking up that morning and seeing, I think there's like 10,000 in a day, and
Yeah. No,
it
it's
just
one of those things.
brought me to tears.
Yep.
And hearing people like the prayers means so much to know that there's so many people out there that was praying for me. And getting to read those and respond to those.
So I can
Was,
see that it says 800 and 858 prayers. So people that at least clicked on that, some probably
right,
went in and wrote messages. And so you
right.
were able to find those messages and read
Yeah,
them. And
and read and respond. Yes, ma'am.
and we know that a lot of people have come on Give Send Go and say, you know what, the money definitely it was helpful. Like I need the money. But having people say, hey, I'm praying for you, we're behind you, you're not alone. Those and this is why we actually started Give Send Go is because we said, the money is needed. You need this
Right,
$50,000. And if anybody watching wants to go and help, you go to givesendgo.com/, Wells Plumbing, or click the link below. But you need this money. You're at $33,000. You still have some debt you need to pay off from the past business that you own to just get out of that pile on top of you. Over and over again, we hear the money was great, but the prayer messages, I can't even put a value to them because
right.
it just, did you have somebody actually call you? We have a prayer team that calls and prays for people. Have you had someone call you yet?
Maybe I'm not big on answering phone if it was from out of
Yeah,
town.
no, a lot of people don't. And so
Definitely.
they would have left you a voicemail. So if you check some voicemail, and if not, they should be calling anytime if they haven't yet. But usually they'll leave a voicemail if it goes through or whatever. But we do have a whole team of people that we hire and they call campaigns, every campaign to say, hey, you're not alone. Can I just pray with you right now here on the phone and let you know that you're not alone? And so at Gifts and Go, we really do believe that there is a God that is
Yeah.
with us even when the world is hard and the
Mhm.
world's not good around us, because there are times where the world doesn't feel good, that God is still good. And we want to always be encouraging people like yourself that are going through a rough time. Like, listen, God's still faithful. Even when life feels hard, you are going to get through this. This is going to be a testimony to your family, to your kids of the faithfulness of God and how you have to rely on Him. So often we can just get into relying on ourselves, and God sometimes will put us in situations where we can't do it ourselves. And so that's what we'll be praying for you through this, that God will just show up in like miraculous ways, which it sounds like He's already started with this money coming through and these prayer messages and things like that. And so I'm so glad that you were able to find Give Send Go. And if anybody's watching this and you want to be a part of this story, the cool part of Give Send Go is that you can be a part of thousands of stories by going in and clicking pray. You don't have to know the person. Click pray and send a message encouraging people. Give a little bit of money if you have some right now. Go and give $10. Skip your coffee for the day. Or share the campaign because that also gets the word out, which is very helpful in fundraising. So, Kyle, what for the people who are watching, what are ways that we can be praying for you? That what are your next steps? Where are you now in the story?
Yeah, so right now I had to get a lawyer because they're coming after me personally, right? And it's in Fulton County in Georgia. That's Atlanta, and I don't live in Atlanta, so a lot of the local lawyers aren't going to go. But I do have somebody talking to the supplier now. I have some money saved up where I've been doing stuff on the side, trying to raise, on my own strength, trying to get that pay towards this. But this is the first time where the supplier said that they'll take a lump sum. Uh, they said 30 days for 75,000. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that, but it's the first time they've actually came down on, because originally owe with court costs, attorney's fees, interest. It's like 117 is
Yikes.
what's owed. It's what they have over me. But they've came down to that number. So I guess just prayers on my next steps. Like I've had multiple people tell me just to wash your hands of it, file bankruptcy. I'm not that person. I don't like doing that. I've never wanted to do that. Because it's not the supplier's fault, right? It's not their fault either. It's not. So I don't want to wipe my hands of it.
Yeah.
I guess just be in prayer for that. What steps that I listen to God and as He directs my path and just make the best decision for the family. And hopefully the lawyers will have talks and maybe they'll get it down some more to where it's more attainable for me in this season. But yeah, that would be good. Just prayers for that situation.
Yeah, no,
Now,
I'm kind of excited to hear how it does all work out because again, God can come through and so many times a story that can feel overwhelming and hopeless, all of a sudden at the end, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm almost thankful that it wasn't just easy because look at that miracle that happened that wouldn't have happened if I didn't have to rely on God. And so that's what I'm praying for a miracle here that is for your kids, that this will be part of their story. Like, oh, I remember when this horrible thing happened and then God was so cool. So remember to talk to your kids about that. My parents
absolutely
were really good about, growing up with 12 of us and my dad owning his own company and times being hard sometimes. And like whenever God came through or paid a bill or whatever, like that was, we didn't know how we were going to make it. They would
right.
kill us, and instead of trying to protect us, because you don't want your kids to be stressed, they would be
Yeah,
like, "Oh my gosh, like we had an electric bill, and we weren't sure how we're going to pay it, and we just got a check in the mail, and it's $233.63 or whatever, like the exact amount, because that's the cool stories that helped me grow up, being like, wow, God does come through, and I can trust Him. So use this as a teaching moment for your kids, and
well,
your family during this. If you want to give again, please come to this campaign, givesendgo.com/Wells Plumbing, and you can give, you can share, and you can pray. We will be keeping you on our prayer list, and I'm really excited to see how
thank
God is going to come through, whether this company is going to come down, whether you say, listen, I do have to file bankruptcy, but I'm going to pay this back because I'm a man of
right,
character. That's what it sounds like. You're like, it doesn't,
right,
I'm going to have to do what I have to do because you have
right.
to do it. But
Yeah,
that you're saying, but I'm not going to just owe people and drop something that I committed to paying off. And I think that's so important. It shows your heart, it shows your character. And it will again show your family that, because the easy thing would be like, well, oh well, sorry, screwed you over because I got screwed over. And that you're saying, listen, I'm going to just try to continue raising money, doing what, maybe negotiating, giving this money, and it's all I can do.
right.
But you owe them, and so I think that's a really good heart place to be, because a lot of people just go, well, whatever, I got screwed over, doesn't matter who else that affects.
Right.
That talks a lot about who you are. I'm so sorry that this happened to you, but through these journeys of going through things that take some courage and bravery and not just rolling over, and is how you inspire other people. And I think this story is going to inspire other people. You did nothing wrong going to a Trump rally, throwing some
Yeah.
flags, even wearing a Trump shirt. Like whether people like Trump or dislike Trump, it doesn't actually matter to me.
Right.
Like you have that freedom to do that. There's nothing
Right.
illegal about supporting a past president.
Right.
And so thank you for continuing to just keep your head up, because I know this must have been really stressful. We will be praying for you. Any last words to anybody who's listening that might find themselves in the same situation or similar? There's lots of
Yeah.
similar situations going on in today's world. Anything?
Yeah. Stay in the word. Have people around you that believe. in God, and that can pray with you and walk. If I didn't have a small group right now, I don't know where I'd be. There's been horrible thoughts come in my mind that I have to talk through, like I don't know, going and getting scratch off tickets. Maybe I'll hit something or it'll help me, or or not my faith wavering. Just have that support group. If you ever go through something like this, always pray and listen. Um, I found that very, very helpful when I go to God in prayer in the mornings and just lay it all out and just and say, God, I'm here, I'm listening. What do you want me to do? What would you have for me? But yeah, just that, just keep the faith and stay strong in God. So
Well, those are great last words. I'm so thankful to have met you, and thank you for choosing Give, Send, Go. It's people like you that help keep our platform going, letting other people know about us as well, because we wanted to be a voice for people who might not have a voice. And we see a lot of these big tech companies shutting down people they disagree with. And
right.
we're here for everybody. You could
Well,
be, you don't have to be a Trump supporter. You could be a Biden supporter or an Obama supporter or a Clinton supporter. We actually don't really care what side you fall on. If you need a voice and a place to raise funds safely, effectively, where you'll get your money with less processing fees, please come to Give, Send, Go. This is why we're here, for stories like Kyle's, giving people a voice to raise money, find some hope while they're doing it. So thank you for tuning in to the Shine Brightly podcast. Have a wonderful day. And remember, you can shine brightly wherever you find yourself in life. Have a good one.
Yo.